Hi there, this is Michelle Holang. I'm the Sparkle Diva, and we're here tonight to have a really exciting talk with Ron Levinson. He's the CEO of UVC Health Solutions, and Jeremy Gall, my co-host, will be here to also share his nuggets and questions with regards to this technology because Jeremy has been using it for like, I think you said 3 years, Jeremy?
Uh, 3.5 to 4 years at this point. So
Oh,
yes.
wow. Awesome, awesome. Because I'm really excited to find out more about the cold oxygen plasma reactor. And so, what I'd like to do is Jeremy is here. He is my co host, he is your chief technologist. I help people with on many areas, but with Sparkle, and that's what this show is named for because here we talk about Sparkle experiences. We try and help people to be, uh, you know, be CEO of themselves. And what I like to do is bring up Ron right now because Ron's so happy to have you here tonight. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Jeremy, any thoughts?
Ron, uh, basically, I met Ron when I was having a hard time during COVID and looking for something to do. And I replied to something that he had posted online. And since then, we've been kind of working together. I've bought into the technology. I've done a lot of research behind it. It's something I fully support, and I've really had a lot of fun working with him. So, Ron, can you tell us a little bit about how you got involved with this and how you discovered this technology?
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy story, but I discovered it by accident. I'm going to say about 18 years ago. Really, for my own health, I wasn't planning on a business. I got involved in this by an ad I saw in our trade newspaper. I was in the furniture business and the car business for many years, mainly the furniture business. And
Right.
we have a trade newspaper called Furniture Today, and in there was an article geared towards mattress stores for a mattress maintenance program. And I sent away for this. Now, I need to backtrack. As a young child growing up, I had beginning stages of rheumatic fever. I'm going to be 78 years old. Um, so needless to say, I grew up in the 50s. Well, I had the rheumatic fever didn't affect my heart, but affected my system. I was very sickly as a kid. In fact, when I had the rheumatic fever, I ran a temperature. I was in bed for almost 6 months
Wow.
Oh,
back
sure.
then, and it really took its toll on me. But growing up through all the years, I had such severe allergies. It was crazy. During the summertime, especially, I suffered so much you have no idea. My nose would run like a faucet. I've sneezed so much and so long. One time, I almost passed out. I sneezed for 45 minutes. That's how bad my allergies were. Well, uh, through life and just lived with it. Well, anyhow, getting back to how I found out about this, in our trade newspaper, it talked about a mattress maintenance program, and I was curious. So I sent away for this literature, and in this literature was a DVD from the Oprah Winfrey Show, Anderson Cooper, Dr. Sean, all these newscasts talking about asthmas and allergies and what's causing them. And they talked about dust mites, and I honestly have never heard that term before. But when they were going over all the symptoms, I had every one of these symptoms
Hmm.
that they were talking about. Most people don't understand dust mites. It's not the mite themselves that hurts you, but
Right.
100% of the population has this issue. A 10-year-old mattress up to double in weight, you can have anywhere from 8 million to 10 million dust mites in your mattress. They don't bite you, but they defecate 20 times a day in your bed. They live 90 to 120 days and they die. It's their dead, decaying bodies and their fecal protein. That's the number one cause of asthmas and allergies in the world. But not just that, eczema, eye conditions, ears conditions, nose conditions, all kinds of different conditions. Well, anyhow, I had all these problems. So I tried to find somebody that can come out and take care of that and sterilize my mattress and get rid of the dust mites. That's what this company's literature was from, but they're a company out of England called Hygienitech. Well,
Okay.
in doing my due diligence, I found this gentleman out of Florida. There was nobody in the United States that could sterilize mattresses the way they needed to be sterilized. And this is where I got my education. The gentleman that I met was a physicist, biochemist, scientist, and he explained to me what was creating all the problems from the mattress. But he says that's not the main issue. He says the main issue, what's killing people and what's creating pretty much all the diseases known to man, was what he called VOCs, volatile organic compounds.
Right.
And there, I never heard that term either. But there's several different names for the same thing, either pollutants, toxins, volatile organic compounds. Well, he introduced me to a product back then called cold plasma sterilization, and I never heard about it. Well, he was trying to sell a franchise, so I flew down to Florida where he was out of, and he showed me everything that it was about and convinced me. And especially once he showed me what's happening inside mattresses with all the mold and mildew and the dust mites, it was horrific. So once he educated me on this cold plasma, and I spent a lot of money to buy this, I'll call it a franchise, but not for a business, but for my own health.
Right.
Got
How
back.
has this improved your life, really?
Well, it changed my life. Once I plugged in that unit and sterilized my mattress, but the main thing was the cold plasma. I woke up for the first time in I can't count how many years, and I could breathe out of my nose, which I never could. I was always so congested. My nose would literally run like a faucet. It still does. It does it. It controls it. If I'm not, if I'm away from my machine for weeks at a time, my nose will start running anyhow. When I'm in my atmosphere, it dries up almost immediately. So as the years went by, I was almost 17, 18 years, I haven't had a cold, a flu, a syphilis, not even a sore throat. When the
Wow, that's amazing, Ron.
it is amazing. And then when the pandemic hit, well, before the pandemic hit is when I met Jeremy. We live in Oregon. Oregon has a horrible problem with mold and mildew just because we're in a very damp climate, especially mold. Well, I knew I
And
had
radon too.
pardon?
And radon too.
Well, a little bit of everything. So
Yeah.
in doing so, I started doing a lot of research on what I had, because I didn't even know what I had at the time. All I know is I haven't gotten sick in years. So when I decided to go and start this business with the mattress sterilizations, where Jeremy first started, called sterilize-your-bed.com, then the pandemic hit. Well, no one wanted to talk about anything at that point. So that's when we just discovered that the product, I'm showing you, it looks like just a kind of a basic air here, Jeremy. It's
Well,
very
it's
blurry.
blurring right now. You have your blur on, so
Oh, I do?
yeah.
Oh no, hold it right there. We can see
Hold
it.
it under your face.
Hold it under your face. Pull it right. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We
It's
can
just
see
a
it now.
little machine about the size of a toaster. There's no maintenance. There's no filters in it. What this product does, it creates a reaction inside that chamber that seeks and destroys. Once one of these are in your atmosphere, it will literally eliminate all odors, all bacteria, all viruses. Now, it was tested years ago. The company I represent, they've been around 30 years. I'm a distributor of a company called Biozone Scientific International. They're the only company in the world that holds the patent to this exact technology. That one unit, they're all physically the same size, but there's different strengths. The
Right.
one unit will do 3,000 square foot home from corner to corner, from top to bottom. It seeks and destroys. It's not an air purifier. Keep that in mind. This is 100% a sterilizer. It's sterilizing your whole interior environment. Every surface is being sterilized. It's been tested by every major laboratory in the world. This company, when I say they have the only technology in the world, it's been certified by EPA, USDA, FDA. It killed the coronavirus years ago when it was just the SARS in 0.44 of a second. It kills all viruses. It even kills drug-resistant bacteria. Once one of these are in your atmosphere, it eliminates anything toxic. The Once you get into the research and understand what is affecting humanity today, science has
Yep.
now proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, every disease known to man has been created through chemicals.
I got a question for you, Ron.
Yeah, Jeremy.
What's the difference between this and an air purifier? I mean, they look very similar.
Well, an air purifier literally is a waste of money. The way all air purifiers work, and most of them create more harm than good. The way all air purifiers work is they have, and it's very confusing because inside their chamber is a UVC bulb, but they'll call that a plasma bulb. That's the confusion with a lot of people. So the way all air purifiers work, if you notice, they all have HEPA filter systems. It has to pull the air from your atmosphere. It sucks it through the filter system. It can only clean and cleanse what goes underneath that light, and that's it, period. It does not kill anything toxic. It will not affect anything, any VOCs or any toxic or any pollutants or any carcinogenics like ours does. Okay. So all a air purifier does is cost you a lot of money because what they do is they just keep on sending you filters. Buy filters, more filters.
Yeah.
So what I
You could,
noticed, Ron, is you said that all you have to do is this unit, it doesn't have anything, it just has this reaction. So how long does this, whatever's in there that is causing this catalyst, this reaction, how
but
long does it last? Like, is it a 5 year, 1 year,
well,
do
no,
I
the product is a lifetime product. Your only maintenance is changing a bulb every 80,000 hours, which it could be anywhere from 2 years, 3 years before you ever have to change a
wow,
bulb.
and is that the bulb that is the UV, is
It's
the
a
UV
special bulb. It's not a
268 or something?
a standard UVC bulb, what you buy over the counter is what they call 254 nanometers. You can take
Right.
any UVC bulb and you can wave it over something. It will sterilize whatever you put over it. But if it's of any strength, it can hurt you. If you look at it, it can blind you. You
Yep.
can't be in the same atmosphere with it. It'll actually ruin the DNA in your skin. Cold plasma sterilization is the safest, strongest, fastest form of sterilization known to man. Okay, I haven't shut mine off in 18 years. I live with it 24/7.
Yeah, and they
Once
use it on NASA too, don't they?
Well, they did, but the problem, everyone that has an air purifier says NASA this and NASA that.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't let NASA be the determining factor. Okay, cold plasma. When I say it seeks and destroys, people ask me all the time, well, how do I know it's working? I don't have any major health issues. Well, once you get one in your home, the first thing you'll notice is like your shoes become odorless. It eliminates, when I say all and any odors, I don't care what the odor is. Jeremy started with one in a matter of a day or two. He had no cat box odor. It
Yep.
eliminates all and any odors. It doesn't matter what that odor is. Your home will become absolutely sterile with this thing. You will see no more dust in your air. What happens when you see light streams shining through your windows, you see all those particles floating around in the air. You will have that will not be in the air any longer because this process inside the chamber that it does inside that chamber creates a reaction that creates what they call atomic oxygen cells. It's a charged gas, basically, that penetrates, it seeks and destroys. It fills your whole home. It goes with airflow. It even sterilizes your ventilation systems. Okay. You will never get mold. In fact, for a test, I let mold grow on a piece of cheese in the refrigerator. You can see the mold. Then I cut it into pure blocks so you have a clean side. Well, this clean side has been on my shelf now for a good couple of years. Well, you can see there's no mold on it whatsoever. This was a dab of cream cheese, and you know how fast cream cheese grows mold. Well, there's no mold on that either. And people can do the same things when they get one in their home. Just put a piece of cheese, you will see this will never, grow mold. Now, mold, which people don't, mold is the number one undiagnosed medical issue in the world.
Right.
70% of homes and businesses have mold. 70%. With this process, you will never get mold, ever get mold. If you
And you
already have
said
mold,
this worked on COVID, right?
well, it killed the COVID. It killed NASA or UCLA tested it. It killed the COVID virus in 0.3 of a second. Okay, it kills all viruses. It even kills your pathogenic microorganisms, which are the hardest microorganisms to kill. It even kills that.
I
It
noticed, Ron, in the write-up that it said one of the listed items was salmonella.
Salmonella, E. coli,
Yeah,
anything.
HIV, was
Say
that
what
in
now?
there too? HIV was listed as the,
HIV, any virus. This process has been used in high-end industry for years.
so why
This
aren't
is,
more people using it, Ron? Like I'm not, like even the restoration companies that are doing more flood
I
restoration.
well, I get asked that question all the time because when you see the box that it comes in, there's no way to describe the technology that this is doing on a box. It takes someone like myself to understand it. This process was designed for commercial use. It wasn't designed originally for home use. It was designed for commercial use for hospitals, laboratories. Your high-end laboratories use this. This is used in processing computer chips. They use it for sterilizing computer chips before they coat it with gold. It's the strongest, safest, fastest form of sterilization known to man. They use it for plating. It cleans a surface like no other surface can clean. Like some of your very high end, like Rolls Royces,
Mm-hmm.
and some of your very high end automobiles. They'll treat the metals with cold plasma before they paint it because it makes things adhere
Mm.
permanently, and it's the smoothest transition. You'll see online. You'll find a lot of videos where they show on the different uses of cold plasma. They use it now. It's the future of medicine.
Oh,
When I
wow.
say when I say this is the only company that has this actual unit, it is, and I searched the world for it. But there's numerous companies that make cold plasma medical apparatus. They use it for killing cancer cells. It looks like basically like a large ballpoint pen that shoots a laser disc, a laser light out of it. Well, when they open somebody up for doing a cancer operation, a lot of times around the edges they can't get all the cancer little spurs. Well, they go over it with this, and this kills cancer cells but doesn't affect the good cells.
Well,
That's
Ron,
the
why
beauty.
wouldn't they put this in an operating room or
They
in a
do.
hospital?
They
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 do.
do.
Yeah.
They do.
They do?
So there's many hospitals around the world that this technology has been used in their hospital operating rooms for years. As I explained to people, this process has been around for 25, 30 years. This is the only company that has a portable, affordable unit
Oh,
that you can buy. If you can go online and find cold plasma machines for tens of thousands of dollars. There's many companies that use this technology for different processes in commercial applications.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
it, it,
Uh,
it, it, it's
so what
go
you're
ahead.
offering here today, Ron, what I'm hearing is that this is finally what you're trying to do is bring it to the
Well,
homeowner, to
yeah,
the
but let me explain what it's going to do for somebody though. Okay,
okay.
because 100% of the population has this issue. The most toxic place on the planet is your home. Okay, the number one health hazard in your home, first is your mattress, the second is your home itself. People don't understand the term off gassing. Every product in your home, when they made the product, had a chemical in the product. This leaches into your atmosphere. It's called off gassing. Okay, this is what science has proven. It's creating autism, it's creating cancer, it's creating your Alzheimer's. It's because what's happening, all these chemicals are deteriorating your immune system, your nervous system, and your endocrine system. Okay, anything I'm showing you, I can validate with scientific research. I can't hold everything up to the screen right now, but when you see some of the research that they show, well, cold plasma neutralizes all toxins, mustard gas, cyanide, carbon monoxide, anything that can kill you. This process neutralizes in seconds. It goes even in, it sterilizes your lungs, your nasal passage. It sterilizes every surface in your atmosphere. Once one of these is plugged in your home, it could take 2 or 3 weeks for it to literally penetrate every corner and every atmosphere of your home. I tell people, even open up your closets. It'll sterilize your closets. Your people don't understand how toxic fabrics are between the all the chemicals and the stain resistant products that are going into chemicals. And what's killing and creating all the problem with children today is all these flame resistant chemicals that go into everything. It's been proven it's creating autism, it's creating cancer, it's
Yep.
creating a sexual identity. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Well, keep in mind, whatever can affect you, whether it be a toxin, an odor, this process neutralizes, literally.
Well, you have
You,
several people here who have actually been using the product, right? Besides
well,
me.
yeah, I want to introduce I Amber Stroh, which see, I met Amber the same way I met Jeremy. I put an ad up on app on Craigslist looking for partners to come in and get involved with me. And
Mhm.
Amber, like a lot of people, everyone's a skeptic at first, and I was too. Well, Amber did her research. She came over and met with me. After doing her research and convinced, she joined me. Well, her family has been in the nursing home business for years, and this is where I'm going to let Amber tell it. Amber's the one that literally got it into after she did her research on it. She took it to another step, and her father's been in the nursing home business for over 20 years, and they have facilities in Texas. So let me introduce Amber. Amber, tell them what your experience has been and what it's done for you and your dad with your dad's experiences.
Okay, so when I first met Ron, like he said, I researched a lot and I wanted to know what it was about. Like I hadn't heard of the technology before. I have a community health services background with grant writing. And so I'm used to doing a lot of research. And I found out, like he said, like those UVC bulbs produce plasma. The typical one's 254 nanometers, but ours are 264, and the amperage makes it so bright it would blind you. So that's why it has to be contained in a box. Like you can't have our bulb as a wand. Your eyesight would be damaged. And it reacts with a plate of non-oxidizing metals, like you'll see in the dental field, that the metal oxidizes and you have to pay for really expensive metal plates every few years. And ours is non-oxidizing. So that's why the only maintenance is the bulb, which is really cool. It's like, I was
Tell
so
them what it
impressed
did for
with
you.
the
You had an
research.
outbreak. You had an outbreak at the facility of COVID. So tell them what happened once you got the actually Amber actually got a grant from the government to pay for them.
Yeah, so it was right during the heart of COVID, and they had an outbreak, and then they were going through nurses and RNs left and right. It was such a disaster. So we installed them in 2 nursing homes, and the severe upper respiratory units, like every room got one. So and then we put some larger square footage units in the hallways. And what was amazing is it stopped the spread of COVID in its tracks. And one of the guys in one of the homes, he already had pulmonary fibrosis, so he was a really high risk COVID patient. And he ended up being able to heal not only from his COVID, but he returned back to a state that was better than before he got COVID, and he was smiling and happy. And his mom, who was the nursing home administrator, just could not believe like how happy he was. She was really impressed. My dad, we installed one kind of high up in his room, above his bed, and he was able to get off of his CPAP machine and then but that was after he got COVID. So he came down with COVID and he did not have the vaccine. So when he got to the hospital, the doctors at the time were told they were, with him being about 80 years old, that they weren't really recommending much other than just sending him home with hospice. And we decided we wanted a second opinion, but he spent a couple days in the hospital, and I ended up driving over there,
I made
dropping
her
off.
go put one in his room.
I had to drop it off because they wouldn't let me go in. And he doesn't remember this. He was so sick, but he was excited to tell the nurse all about what it was, and that he was so happy to see it because he knew that I had been working with this stuff and took them to the nursing homes. And he not only healed up from his from COVID, and he had pneumonia. He had COVID pneumonia. Now he's doing great. He's right back to work. He's doing yard work. He's moving things today. He was very active and totally fine. And then after that is when we installed one above his bed. It's really neat. Like, it takes all of the dust, all the dust mites out of the air. And so my nephew has asthma, and when he's home, his asthma issues are better now that my sister has one. And my sister, her husband, came home with COVID. He's a contractor, and they put it in their room, and he didn't pass COVID to her, which is really cool. And yeah, it's been excellent. I
Yeah,
mean,
she
I
had
can't
some odor
even
issues,
about it.
and you had Amber also. When I first met you, she had some. They owned an Airbnb, and they did a
Mhm.
stained wall. And they couldn't get rid of
Yeah.
the odor. They put the unit in there, and the odor went away in a day or two.
Yeah, it had stunk for over 6 months, and it was actually overnight. I just left it in there for one night, and it ate up all the VOCs. It was amazing. It was a really fast way to see that it worked. It really blew my
There,
mind.
yeah, it's really an amazing. It's just hard to imagine the power that this little machine has. And by the way, I do give